have a Toyota A6 here that's the owner left because he needed to do something else, but he wants a remap. But we gave the car once over. Off the bat, we found something kind of disconcerting. The dude has an aftermarket intake, and it's the wrong size. Off the bat, we can know. Here's an easy way to know if your intake's the wrong size or not. If the guy you're doing, having the guy do your intake, if he knows what he's doing. You take a look at here very simply. We don't have, well, we already know that this is the wrong size because we've done a lot of 86 intakes, but here's the thing. The intake tube here is smaller than the throttle body. That is wrong. That is no way in the world correct. At the very least, it should be at least the same size, or if not bigger than the throttle body. And if the tube here is the wrong size, this sensor is calibrated to the diameter of the tube. So we already know that that's already the wrong size. That's 2.5 inches, though the inside diameter of this thing is something like 2.4 or 2.35. So that definitely is wrong. You're screwing up the reading of the mass airflow by having the wrong tube come in. It's like your water pipe. If you still have the old style water pipe with a dial in the middle, that dial is calibrated to the flow of the housing. You make the housing bigger without changing anything, that water meter will read wrong. And the other thing that we noticed that he has a set of headers down there. As you can see, it's an unequal length. You don't do that to an 86. Yes, you do it because you want the nice Subaru Boxer rumble, but it was never designed to rumble in the first place. So the correct one for this one is actually an equal length header. Oh well, we'll see first. We'll do a baseline dyno, we'll tune it and see what the results are. But from the get-go, my guess is this will make less than stock horsepower. And yeah, baseline dyno's in, and it's right. It's making only 125 horse. That's way, way below what a stock 86 should make. Stock 86 should be at least 140, 145, with the average being about 150 from what we see here. So yeah, it's lost power from whatever he did. You know. So already talked to the owner, and we'll change out the intake, we'll change out the header. So then we'll do another baseline dyno, and then we'll tune, see how much better we can get. Just for reference, tune 86 from baseline gets anywhere from 18 to about 25 horses more. And yes, the annoying torque dip here will be minimized. This is a standard thing for all 86s. There's a torque dip at 4,000 RPM. So after tuning, it will be minimized like that. It's not going to be as drastic as that. these are the unequal length headers, which pretty much what I see. If you have a Honda, Toyota, a Vios, you want this because you want your car to sound like a Subaru, which frankly is absurdly stupid, and you are also stupid for wanting one. If you want it to sound like a Subaru, buy an old Subaru. On an inline four-cylinder, you simply don't do this because number one, you will mess up the air-fuel ratio in all four cylinders, not just two of it. And you will not gain any power whatsoever. And even on basically Toyota A6 Subaru Twins, you don't do this kind of unequal length header. Yes, I've seen this before. This kind of header is specific for the 07 and below Subarus. Fine, okay, up to 2010 we can still have this one, but this design is particularly copied from the 07 below. So Bug Eye, Peanut Eye, WRX STIs. So this. You don't do this. You don't make an unequal length header if the car did not come with it as original equipment. You simply don't, because number one, you'll lose power, that's for sure. Why do you lose power? Okay, let's take this for example here. You have the two pistons going out here, left and right. So this one has to travel a long way to get out here. This one has to travel a shorter distance. So what happens, your exhaust pulse is long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. You actually lose the scavenging effect of a continuous exhaust pulse that goes out, because this exhaust pulse, when it goes out, it creates a vacuum here that pulls the other exhaust pulse towards it. Much like two cars driving together. But with long, short, so long, short, this short pulse does not have enough, actually I'm wrong. The short pulse has power because it's kind of short, but the long pulse, by the time it gets here, you have wasted energy to pull the pulse from here. So the result is you are backing up your exhaust pulses on this side of the engine, and that will make you lose power. This is the correct design of header. If you want to be strict about it, yes, this is still unequal because this part is longer than this one, but if it's not like this is a bit too much. And you can see that the bend here is a lot smoother than the sharp U bend here. It's not even a complete letter, it's a sharp tuk tuk like that. It's not even U. It's two welded elbows that are not even smooth like that. So what you want is something like this. Do you get the boxer sound from this? Little. But the thing about exhaust you have to understand is you equate exhaust pipes to roads. The smoother the curve of the road with no sharp bends, the faster the car travels. That's the same principle when designing an exhaust. You want everything to be as smooth as possible without any sharp corners, sudden merging into one. So yeah, we'll put this on, we'll dyno it again, and we'll change out the intake as well. See how much more power we get. right, we're done with our 86 tuning, and then these are the results. Quick recap. So this is what it was before. As you can see, with a horrible torque dip there, and it's only 120 horse. That's with his wrong intake and wrong header. Just by swapping out the intake and the header to the correct ones, we're able to not only minimize the dip here, we actually went from 120 to about 142. So, heck, it's 20 horses more just by swapping in the correct thing. At 140 horse, this is one of the lower horsepower 86s that we've seen. So, because you normally a stock 86 should be about 140, 145. Anyway, low power to begin with. And when we tuned it, so this is the tuning after this purple line. So we went from about 142 to 162. So that's another 20 horses up from whatever it is here. So we went at this is at peak power at 7,200 RPM. So from its baseline of 120, we went up to 160. So that's 40 horses right there. But the biggest joy is this one here, where there's no more torque dip. So back here when it dips here, it's only 40 horses. Now it's 90 horse. So that's 50 horse right then and there. Same story with the torque. The dip is not as drastic no more. It's not that. It's not 60, that's not 120 Newton meters. So it's only from 150 to 180. So it's only about 30 Newton meters dip. And you're making a lot more torque now at 3,000 RPM than you ever did before with your setup. So again, this is one of the lower end powered 86s that we've done. Usually a healthy 86 that has a baseline of 140 or 145 after intake exhaust tuning mods, we see 180 or sometimes 185. So well, that's why they come here, because the car feels slow, and that's what we're here to fix. Is there any other way to get it up to close to 180, 190? Not in its current state anymore. Why is it like that? It's really like that. Not all cars are made the same. So if you remember anything about statistics, you have a bell curve like this one. So 90% of all cars are within spec here. Then there are the few rare cars that have higher than average horsepower. Then you have cars that are lower than average horsepower. That's just the way that manufacturing works. Does it still run? Of course it runs. Is it still a car? Yes, it's still a car. It still has aircon. But again, you're one of the not so lucky dudes to get a slightly below power car. I mean, again, that happens, and we tend to see a lot of these cars because, again, that's what we're complaining about. It's mahina. You don't really hear the people who have the higher than average horsepower walk into here because they do have higher than average horsepower. So again, for the 86, you need the correct intake tube and you need the correct header, not the horrible unequal length header that is only for a old turbo Subaru.